Pockets made a comeback. We've got our live look out towards Keeneland this morning and another live look from downtown, the 21C Museum Hotel WeatherBug camera here in Lexington. Not a lot to show you, and we're in pretty good shape. The MaxTrack, there isn't really anything going on throughout much of the Ohio, Mississippi, Tennessee, River Valley, and until you head west, that's where you start to find the action. This is the beginning of a storm that is going to have a wide-ranging impact. It's going to work its way across Texas today and eventually pass us to the south tomorrow. And as it does so, you'll see an increase in cloud cover today, mostly to partly sunny, pretty quiet for your Tuesday. Overnight, moisture's on the rise, and the concern here, the problem here, is we're going to have lows around freezing, and this is getting in closer to daybreak. The next few hours through the morning commute could be problematic for you because we've got the potential for some light freezing precipitation, freezing rain and snow over to just cold rain as this milder push shunts the wintry weather up into Ohio and Indiana later in the day. So there'll be a few hours in the morning where it may get a little slippery on the roads, and then we'll have lingering low clouds. It's going to be cold and raw Thursday. The temperature's likely not getting out of the 30s. Rainfall could be the heaviest into our southeastern counties, kind of similar to the round that we saw come through late in the weekend, early in this week, with anywhere from a half inch to 3/4 of an inch on the high end south and east. But the snow is a different story. The last batch it went through, we had that bubble that went through around Somerset and London. This time, use I-64 as the dividing line. A couple of slushy tenths of an inch. I don't expect anything up beyond an inch there, mainly on grass and elevated surfaces for a couple of hours tomorrow morning, but that possibility is there, so you can have some slick driving conditions. And boy, are we cold enough for snow right now. It's 20 degrees in Lexington. We have a wind out of the northeast at about 8 miles per hour. And temperatures just struggle the next few days. We're going to stay below average. That's a high of 36 Thursday, and we just slightly edge back into the mid to upper 40s this weekend. There are still signs out there prior to Christmas next week, though, of an above normal bubble across the upper Midwest. So, it looks balmy here, but we're talking about being above our normal high, which is 45 degrees. So we may be running in the 50s closer to Christmas. And speaking of stats, as far as white Christmases are concerned, already getting the questions about that, especially via social media. The definition of it from the National Weather Service, at least an inch of snow on the ground Christmas Day. We've only had 20 of those in Lexington on record. The first one, or I should say the very last one, 1899, with 1 inch of snow as far as the beginning of records keeping there. The last one that we've had in Lexington, we had 2 inches on the ground 10 years ago. So yeah, they're not all that frequent. And the longest break we had without measurable snowfall, just trace amounts, was 24 years, from the mid 60s to the late 80s. So this year, not looking all that promising, especially with as warm as it looks like it's going to be trending just prior to Christmas. But that means if you're running 40s to 50s, there you can see it out there toward the end of the 8-day. There may be a pattern flip. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out as we get closer to Christmas Day proper.